welcome. A change in a sanction regime that is not working should not be any kind of signal whatsoever to him that he should cross any line and test our will, because we're absolutely determined to make that part of the world a more peaceful place by keeping this guy in check.
I understand and share the concern. Speaking together as the founders of NATO, we would never do anything to undermine NATO. But where NATO as a whole chooses not to be engaged, it is important that we have the capability, where it's right and within these limited tasks that I've set out, to be able to act, should we choose to do so ourselves. And, you know, I think done in that way, it is something that can strengthen NATO, give us an additional string to our bow in circumstances where NATO doesn't want to be involved. And I think the President's absolutely right, in a sense, to put it up to us in Europe and say, well, if we are going to do this, then let us make sure that our capabilities match our aspirations. And I think done in that way, it is good not just for Europe, but it's good for NATO and the US as well. Which is to be very open about this, just to talk to people about it, to make sure that allies are consulted properly. These are very, very...
I know there's some concerns in Europe about Russian reaction to the development of defenses that will make the world more peaceful. And Mr. Putin started talking about the need for folks to think about developing systems that will intercept missiles on launch, for example. Theater-based systems that will keep the peace. We found that to be a breakthrough of sorts, a recognition that the Cold War has passed, that we are not Russia's enemy. I don't view Russia as our enemy either, and that there will be new threats that we have to deal with. If we're peaceful, loving people, we must use our technologies to appropriately deal with the threats that we'll be facing.
I understand and share the concern of the President and the American administration about weapons of mass destruction and nuclear proliferation. And I think it's very important in that context that we discuss all the ways that we can deal with this threat, which is a real threat and a present threat, both in relation to offensive and defensive systems. And I said to the President, and I want to repeat to you, that I welcome very much the approach that the administration has taken, which is to be very open about this, which is to talk to people about it, to make sure that allies are consulted properly. These are very, very big and important issues, but we welcome the dialogue that there has been on it.
See you at the gym. Exactly right.
How goes the Get Acquainted session?
Good, John. Thank you.
Mr. Blair?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Excellent.